Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna make a bag with a leather bottom. I'm gonna use this Lion Brand rewind tape. I will be using a 5mm crochet hook, and I will be using 2 strands of this yarn together at the same time. This is 3.5 ounces and 219 yards for one. This color is Willow, and this is a very soft yarn. It feels kind of foamy. It's very lightweight, which is why I'm choosing it, because I don't want my bag to be really heavy, because I'm hoping to take it on vacation and I just don't want a really heavy bag in there. And the bag bottom is 12.5 by 2 3/4. I'm going to start by making a slip knot. And then I'm going to find the corner here. I mean the middle of the side. And I'm going to cast on to that with a single crochet. And I'm going to do this the first 2 rows like I did the last purse video that I did. So if you saw that video, this will be the same with one added thing. So gonna do 2 single crochets in each hole in the curve. And I'm going to work my tail into the back. Okay, I did 2 single crochets all the way to here, and then when you get to the hole that is next to your little foot, then we will start doing 1 single crochet. And you do 1 single crochet in every hole until you get down to the next peg. So you can see right here there's a curve that ends right here. So right in this hole where the curvature stops and it becomes straight, that is where you put your last single crochet 1, and the next one we will start to do 2. Okay, now that I'm at the curvature part again, I will do 2 single crochets all the way around until I get back to here. Okay, now I'm back to the straight edge, and I will do 1 single crochet all the way down till I get to where it begins to curve. Now I will finish the last of these with 2 single crochets in each hole. Now you will do a slip stitch into that first stitch from the previous row, and then chain one. And then if you saw the other purse video, the way I did that was for this second row, I did single crochets in the curve, and as in one single crochet per hole in the curve. And then on this side we alternated 2 single crochets, which is an increase stitch and a regular stitch, alternated that all the way down each side. So that is the way you would normally do the bottom of the bag. However, the stitch that I'm going to use is a shell stitch, and it is a 6 stitch repeat. So we need our base when we start doing the shell to be, the stitches need to be in multiples of 6. So if I do this the way I normally would do it, I only end up with 112 stitches. So I need 114 stitches to make it a multiple of 6. So I need to add 2 stitches. So I'm going to add an extra stitch here and an extra stitch here so that it balances out and the bag doesn't come out further on one side than the other. So to do that, I will do 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and then I will do 1, and I will do 1 single crochet per stitch until I get to the hole that has 1 in it. Okay, so I did my 1 single crochet per stitch in this curve, with the exception of the front one. If the base that you get has different holes in it, like a different number of holes, then you may need to change this. So in order to change it, you just need to figure out, when you're done with this row that I'm doing right here, your total stitch count needs to be a multiple of 6. So that can be whatever number you want. You can have a smaller base bag, a bigger one, a wider one. So now we will start the side edge. We will do 2 single crochets here, and then 1, 2, 1, and we will alternate all the way down. So an increase stitch, regular stitch, increase, regular, all the way till you get to where the 2 per hole starts. Okay, now I will continue in the curve, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, except for one right here, and you can just pick any one, doesn't matter, just find the one that's in the center and do an increase stitch there so that our count number will turn out correctly. Okay, I'm gonna finish this side now with increase, single, all the way down till I get to the last hole that has 1 stitch in it. So I'm gonna start with increase, and then do a single, and then keep repeating that. We're going to get to the curve, finish with 1 single crochet per stitch. Okay, when you get to the end, you can see right here is where the slip stitch was. And this is our chain 1. So this is our stitch right here. Slip stitch into the first stitch that you did. Before you go any further, make sure that you count your stitches. When I count my stitches, I put a stitch marker every 25 so I don't lose count. Make sure that you have a multiple of 6, whatever number that is. It just needs to be a multiple of 6 so that your 6 stitch repeat pattern will work. And when you're counting, you need to, your first stitch that you're going to count is going to be the one here that your slip stitch is in. And the last stitch that you will count will be this one right here, not the slip stitch. So I counted from here to here and I got 114, so I know that I'm good to proceed on. If you don't have a multiple of 6, then depending on how far off you are, if you're just like you need one more, then you can just add another stitch to one of these down here. If you have too many stitches, then you need to go back and do a decrease stitch, or you need to go all the way back and take out one of the other ones that you shouldn't have had in. So to start this 6 stitch repeat pattern, it's a shell pattern, and the pattern that repeats is it starts with a single crochet. That is the first stitch that you're going to do. So we're going to do a single crochet. You're not going to chain 1, you're just going to do a single crochet in that same stitch where your slip stitch was. That's the first one you counted when you were counting your numbers. And then you will skip 2. So skip this one, and then this will be our shell stitch. And to make a shell, you do 5 double crochets in the same stitch. And then you will skip 2, and then that's when the pattern repeats. So you've got your 1 stitch for the single crochet, and then you've got your 2 that you skip, and then you've got your shell stitch, and then 2 more that you skip. That is the that is the 6 stitch repeat that we're going to do. So we're just going to repeat that all the way over. So we did our single. Oh, wait a minute, we're going to go in the back loop only because we need to start turning our walls up. So go into the back loop only. Because we're working with 2 strands, make sure you get both of them on the hook. Okay, back loop only, single crochet, and then skip 2 stitches, and then double crochet into the next one, and then 4 more double crochets into the same stitch. Okay, that is a shell, 5 double crochets in 1. So if you ever see a pattern that you want to make and it says do a shell stitch, that's what they mean, 5 double crochets in the same stitch. Skip 2, still working in the back loop, do a single crochet. You will work in the back loop only all the way around, just so that we get this wall to turn in, and then we will go back and crochet the regular way. So skip 2 and do a shell stitch. Okay, now you're going to repeat where you skip 2 and then do a single crochet. And repeat that pattern all the way around, and if you had a multiple of 6, then you should be able to end in the last stitch with your 6 stitch repeat pattern. When you get to the end, you do your 2 and single crochet in the back loop, and then for this row, this is the only row you'll need to do this for. We need to get our shells positioned right. So we will do, instead of doing a skip 2, we will go into the next stitch, and that is where we will put a shell stitch. And then you will skip 2 and do your single crochet. At this point, you should be able to flip your project up. We can start to bring our walls up. So now you should have your shells positioned to where right here is your single crochet. Skip 2, shell. Your shell should go into the top of your single. Skip 2, do a single crochet. Skip 2, shell, skip 2, single, and do that all the way around. And then when you get to the end this time, so right here will be your single crochet, because your single crochet is going to go into the top of your 3rd double crochet in your shell, so that it's right in the middle. And then when you skip 2 and do your shell right here, then that will put you skip 2, do your single, and then you will be doing your rounds to where you don't have to do join rounds, you don't have to do chain ones, you don't have to do any of that. You just keep repeating, and your shell stitches should be on top of your single crochet, so that your shells are going into the little dip space, and your single crochets are going to go right in the middle of all of your shells. I'm going to add a tag to this. So I want my tag to be right here. So I go flip it over. I'm going to get a smaller hook. to my regular hook. Okay, so this is where I'm going to stop my bag. And it is about 10 and a half inches tall. Yeah, it's about 10 and a half inches tall. So when you're ready to stop your bag and you make it as tall as you want, if you just want to keep crocheting until your all of your yarn for those skeins of yarn run out, you can do that. So because you are in continuous rounds and you won't have like a real defined edge where you slip stitch to end your row in, when you're going around and you're ready to end your project because it's as tall as you want it to be, you want to make sure that your rows are about the same height on each side. So when you go in rounds, sometimes you will have one side that kind of sticks up a little bit taller than the other side. So when I got to this corner, at first I put a shell stitch here, but when I did that, it made this corner stand up too tall. So when I pushed it together, it didn't look right. So because right now I'm about the same height, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here by making a slip stitch. So normally this would be a shell, but I'm still gonna do my skip 2. But instead of putting a shell, I will just do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut my yarn. Pull that through. And then I'm going to make a little knot right here. just to lock that in. And then I'm going to weave in my ends. I'm going to weave it in on the inside so that it won't show. I'm going to cut. And that is how I will end the bag. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put a strap on it. And I wanted a ribbon for my strap. You can also make your fabric strap with, you can just buy fabric and cut it into strips, and when you cut your fabric into strips, because it'll have a jagged edge, you can just sew it and make strips that way. But I've got this really thick ribbon that I got from Amazon, and I will put the link in the description box. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it at an angle. And then because we have a lot of chain 2 spaces, you don't need to make any skipped spots to put this. Normally, if you're going to put something like a ribbon or something or a hook in here, you would need to make chain spaces so that there will be an opening for it, but we don't need to do that since we already have lots of places we can put it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold this over and I'm gonna push it through spaces in the bag. And so I want to make sure that the ribbon coming through the bag is even on both sides. So I measured down. I'm about 1 inch from the top, and I'm 2.5 inches in. And so I put a marker there, and I do that on both sides. So these are the spaces where I will push the ribbon through. So to start with, just fold it up until you can get it small enough to push it through the hole. You want this to be pretty tight. So take your stitch marker out of the way. Come in from the back. Just push it through. And then I'm going to have it come down right about to the end of the bag so that I have space to tie a knot. And then you just need to figure out how long you want your handle to be. You know, if you want a big, giant, crossbody type, you can do that. I want mine to be a little bit smaller. So, I want it to be about like that. It's better to start off with it being a little bit longer than you think you want it to be, because it's obviously a lot easier to trim it in the end. So once you get that cut, then take it out so that you can make another piece the same size. have 2 pieces. So now go back and push that through the spot you had. Make sure that's the right place. I'm going to tie a knot. So then when you do the other side, and then when you're completely finished, you can take a look at your ribbon where the knots are, and like I'll need to cut this one so that it's the... Okay, I got both sides done. And you can put a liner in it if you want to.